Today we're going to make pasta sauce. Welcome to Kenny What You Grow. I'm Holly Baird. Today we're going to make pasta sauce. Now this is a simple pasta sauce that you can process in your hot water bath canner. There's many other types out there that do require pressure canner. This is one that anybody can do. You can also freeze it if you choose not to can it. So what we have here is we have a combination of fresh homegrown tomatoes. And then we have a combination of tomatoes that we have froze. Some were from late last fall and some were from the spring where we just didn't have time to get to them yet. So we put them in the freezer and we're going to use those as well. Then the other ingredients besides the tomatoes are peppers. And these are sweet peppers. These are all sweet peppers. You can add some hotter peppers if you want, but we keep it kind of mild. These onions, unfortunately, we cannot grow onions very well. We can buy them cheaply from the farmer's market and whatnot, so we just buy them. And then our homegrown garlic, and then you need bottled lemon juice. You want to make sure it's bottled lemon juice so that you have a consistent acidity. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to get these tomatoes on the stove so we can blanch them so they're easy to peel. And also, because we froze these, there's this magical thing that happens when you freeze them and then they defrost as they become easily peelable. So basically the skin separates itself naturally in the thawing process, so we don't have to worry about blanching them. So we'll get these ready to go. Okay, so we've got these blanched and now we're peeling them. Now just keep in mind when you're going to blanch tomatoes, you want to make an X at the bottom. That way it makes it easier to peel them once they come out of the water. This is the cool water, the icy water that we had. So now we're just simply going to peel back the skins and then we take the cores out. And then what we're going to do is we have to chop these up a bit. So we're going to put them in the food processor and then see what we end up with, because we might have to add a little bit more water to make it of a saucy consistency so it's not too thick. So we're going to get that done and then see what we end up with the stock pot here. I pre-chopped the vegetables while I was waiting for the water to boil, and they're all set to go. And then I'll have to add some Italian seasoning as well. So let me get these going here. We'll get them in the food processor and we'll see what happens. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm setting the skins aside. Now, we're just going to put them in the compost. Some people, and we might do this, especially because we're getting a lot of tomatoes and we're going to have to peel a lot with other things we're making. But some people will take those skins and then they'll dehydrate them in the dehydrator, and then they'll add them, they'll kind of grind them up to make like a tomato seasoning, and then they can add them to different things throughout the winter to give it a better, deeper tomato flavor. Okay, so we got our tomatoes all ready to go. We've been breaking them down in the food processor. I have added the other vegetables, and then I added about 4 tablespoons of seasoning here, and that's on the recipe. It's dried seasoning. And we have this set up here. This is actually the lid to my cake pan, and it's nice because when you peel the tomatoes, it kind of holds some of that water. And since our tomatoes aren't super watery, we want some of that water mixed in. So it's, as you can see, the sauce is a decent thickness, but we still have to cook it before we can it because you need to be hot. It's a hot pack, and so then you want to cook these vegetables down. Anyway, so I'm gonna get the rest of the tomatoes added, and we're gonna get this on the stove. We're also gonna get our canner started so that when we're ready to can, it's already boiling. All right, so we have this cooked down. It's cooked for, I don't know, longer than half an hour. We wanted to, since we had this stock pot so full, we started it kind of at a lower temperature so that we didn't burn it. So then we had to, since we were pushing our limit, we put some into this, and so we'll have to add it back in when we get close to getting all of our jars filled. So when you can with tomatoes, because especially homegrown tomatoes, the acidity varies. So whether you're doing salsa, well, a lot of times with salsa you're adding vinegar, but whether you're doing pasta sauce, whole tomatoes, ketchup, things like that, you have to add some sort of acid. So we add bottled lemon juice, and National Center for Home Food Preservation would agree with this, and so would bulk canning. And so you want to use bottled lemon juice though, because it'll give you a consistent acidity throughout the batch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my jar going here, and we have all these tools here. If you're not familiar with the tools of canning, I would definitely think about learning about them. There's different tool sets you can buy at your hardware store, big box store, whatnot. So you want to make sure your jars are hot, and then I always make sure I put my lemon juice in first. That way I'm not like, did I do it? Did I not do it? What have you. So then use my jar funnel and get this going, and it's going to be a 1/2 inch headspace, and you do this in your hot water bath for 40 minutes for the quarts. Okay, so we got our headspace here, 1/2 inch. All right, just a smidge more. There we go. And then I have my lids here, and I always just take some paper towel, wipe the rim, even if it's pretty clean looking. You don't know what's sitting there. And then let me grab my lid here. Now these new lids you don't have to soak. So if you bought lids that are newer, you don't have to soak them or preheat them or whatnot. And then we have our ring. Let me you just want to finger tighten it on. I'm not very confident about that. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Alright, this ring is giving me a hard time. This one instead. When you're doing this, you want to make sure everything stays warm or hot. So you just finger tighten it. Don't crank on it. Don't let your muscle man husband come in here and crank on your lids. That's not good. Okay, so we take our jar lifter, and so this is a 9-quart canner. I'm just going to put it off to one side, and then I'll take turns on each side until I get it full. Put my lid back on, and there you have it. So then I'm going to do the rest of them. It's going to go for 40 minutes for the quarts, and then we'll get them out. Alright, so we have about 2 quarts left that we have to can, but that's a good problem when you have more than what you expected. And here's our last one for this batch. Okay, so there you have it. Homemade, homegrown, home canned pasta sauce. I'll go ahead and put the recipe in the show notes for you, and then we're all set. This is Holly Baird. This has been Canning What You Grow. For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.